All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. We pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they was testified me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come by Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there is one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writing, how should you believe my words? So, hallelujah for Yahushua and the word. I think it's in the book of Numbers. Shalom, brother brothers. We need to come over here and look at, man, just for those who are not aware of a second Passover, what that means. Numbers chapter 9. Shalom, Mother Sharona. Numbers chapter 9. Shalom, Michael. Numbers chapter 9. I say verse 1. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the first month of the second year after they were come out of the land of Mizraim, saying, "Let the sons of Yasharal also keep the Passover at its appointed season. In the 14th day of this month at even you shall keep it in its appointed season, according to all the rites of it. According to all the ceremonies thereof shall you keep it." Moses spake unto the sons of Yasharal that they should keep the Passover, and they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month at even in the wilderness of Sinai, according to all Yahuwah commanded Moses. So did the sons of Yasharal. And there were certain men who were defiled by the dead body of a man, that they could not keep the Passover on that day. And they came before Moses and before Aaron on that day. And those men said unto him, "We defiled by the dead body of a man, wherefore are we kept back, that we may not offer an offering of Yahuwah in his appointed season among the sons of Yasharal." Moses said unto them, "Stand still, and I will hear what Yahuwah will command concerning you." And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, "Speak unto the sons of Yasharal, saying, if any man of you or of your posterity shall be unclean by reason of dead body in a journey afar off, yet you shall keep the Passover unto Yahuwah. The 14th day of the second month at even they shall keep it, eat with unleavened bread and bitter. And they shall leave none of it until the morning, nor break any bone of it. According to the ordinances of the Passover, they shall keep it. But the man that clean and not in a journey and forbear to keep the Passover, even the same soul shall be cut off from among his people, because he brought not the offering of Yahuwah in his appointed season. That man shall bear his sin. And if a stranger shall sojourn among you and will keep the Passover unto Yahuwah, according to the ordinance of the Passover, and according to the manner thereof, so shall he do. And you shall have one ordinance, both for the stranger and for him that was born in the land. So that's for those of you who didn't know why we're here. John chapter 3, verse 1. That just might be my phone. That's my phone. I ain't gonna lie to you. This phone speaker messed up. John chapter 3, verse 1. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Yahudim. The saying came to Yahushua by night and said unto him, "Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher come from Elohim, for no man can do these miracles that you do except Elohim be with him." Yahushua answered and said unto him, "Truly, truly, I say unto you, except a man be born again, he cannot see the Malchut of Elohim." Nicodemus said unto him, "How can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born?" Yahushua answered, "Truly, truly, I say unto you, except a man be born of water and the Ruach, he cannot enter into the Malchut of Elohim. That which is born of the flesh is flesh." Shalom, man. "That which is born of the Ruach is Ruach. Marvel not that I said unto you that you must be born again. The wind blow where it list, and you hear the sound thereof, but cannot tell when it come and where it go. So is everyone that is born of the Ruach. I already know that that's my phone. There's absolutely nothing that I can do about that. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 14. Yeah. I already know. But yeah, that's my phone. There's nothing I can do about that. Ecclesiastes 4 and 14. That's chapter 7. For out of a prison he come to reign, whereas also born in his mouth become poor. And I considered all the living which walk under the sun with the second child that shall stand up in his stead. Numbers chapter 23. Oh yeah, by the way, we just crossed 700 subscribers, so 300 more. I can go live at any time on my phone. 300 more. We get 300 more. We can go live at any time. That means I could just go live in the street on general principle. Number 23 and 7. And he took his parable and said, Balak, the Malach of Moab, that brought me from Amram out of the mountains of the east. Come, curse me, Jacob. Come, defile Yasharal. How shall I curse whom Elohim have not cursed? How shall I defy? Yahuwah have not defied. For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. The people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. Who shall count the dust of Jacob, the number of the fourth of Yasharal? Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my last end be like his. Now I seen a brother, he posted something about something that we ain't talked about in a long time, and that's the blemishes in that can't be in the sacrifice in Leviticus 22. And we're probably finna look at that. But before we do that, I think we good in Job 14. Shalom, bro. I think we good in Job 14. Let me take a look. We'll slide to Psalms 37 if we good. I think I got everything I wanted in Job. No, not yet. I did get to the change come. But I'm going to go ahead with this Job 14 and 15 on general principle. I know I discussed it. No, I think we already talked about it. But I'll do it anyway. You shall call. Let me get verse 14. If a man die, shall he live? All the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change come. And we did discuss that. You shall call and I will answer you, and you shall have desire to the work of your hands. We also discussed that. And of course, you know, we discussed that with Lazarus. Let's take a look at Lazarus in John chapter 11 on general principle. John chapter 11 and 1. I'm going to move around. Well, I done had these holes for about a year. They finally don't hurt my feet. I ain't never had a pair. So I just grabbed one. These were used anyway. Said, now a certain was sick. This is John 11 and 1. Shalom, bro. Now a certain was sick, Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary. What, everybody want to hear all that, boy? Nobody want to hear all that? You ought to fart in your face. That boy go hard. The town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. You know what fun I seen a YouTube video, these people were talking, man, and they were talking about showing women grace and whatnot. And they mentioned the lady caught with adultery. And you know who they said that woman was? They said it was Mary Magdalene. Do you know at any time it be anything with a woman in the New Testament, they always say it's Mary Magdalene? I'm like, man, Mary Magdalene was a woman who had 7 unclean spirits, and that was it. The woman in John 8 wasn't even named. They didn't even mention her name. It was just a woman who was caught in adultery. You know what I'm saying? What they were talking about is, a lot of people get a lot of things twisted. Shoot, they're just something when they were having a conversation about something we'll post about saying, forgive your parents. And then they shared something with another gentleman, just a different perspective, where he would say, you should go to your parents and ask them for forgiveness for judging them. And I'm like, I think niggas get that done twisted. Because most of y'all ain't grow up with no sour parents. Maybe you did. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, if your mama was walking in the house, man, and you seen a different nigga in the house every day, you know what I'm talking about? Like I tell you today, you got a different uncle, and that different uncle led to you getting molested, you gonna have some resentment against your mama. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm supposed to go say, mama, please forgive me because I don't like you because you kept bringing niggas in here who were touching on me. Man, that sound, what it come up with, like, you know what? At the end of the day, them your parents, but they are human beings, and they can make errors, and they can be prone to bad judgment. They can be prone to bad decisions. They can be inherently selfish. They can be outright stupid. You know what I'm talking about? But you would just have to remember that none of the things that they did necessarily had anything to do with you. It had to deal with what they were not properly equipped for by their parents, or maybe their parents did properly equip them, and they just chose to do what they wanted to do. You know what I'm talking about? What you removing in that when you saying that is you saying that as an individual, you come of age that you would have to realize that you would need to have mercy and forgiveness to your parents for what they've done or what they didn't do. You know what I'm saying? If my mama smoked crack, I ain't going to my mama. Mama, forgive me because I judged you for being a crackhead. You were smoking crack and you chose crack instead of your responsibilities. What am I asking you for forgiveness for? He was saying that no judgment is authority. That's how you know niggas using judgment wrong. You could, the book tell you to judge. You just judge righteous judgment, not according to your appearance. You would need to know what to determine what is right and what is wrong. What is just, yeah, and what is unjust. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's condemning anybody. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, hey man, I'm not fooling with that. You know what that junk come down to, man, and really, you know what I'm saying? Black folks really, really, real big on that, man. And niggas try to act like, boy, niggas people ain't do these children wrong, man, and like these children don't have a valid reason for being upset. You know what I'm saying? That's what niggas be doing. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. I know them your parents, you still giving them proper respect, regardless of what they've done or what they didn't do. But we just can't act like, boy, niggas people ain't niggas people went out of pocket. You know what I'm talking about? And it caused damage to a child who did not ask to be here. Matter of fact, the child is only here because you saw some manner of pleasure one particular evening, and here they go. You know what I'm saying? Whether you plan to here they go, or whether you didn't plan to here they go. Either way it go, here they go. That child didn't have to be here, and then the choices and the decisions that you made have negatively affected that child, and you think that child's supposed to grow up and just walk around with a smile on their face. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you know, you ain't do nothing to me. Well, I know niggas who was beat. You understand me? And for things that they should have been beat for that. I ain't talking about no whooping, man. I'm talking about being beat. You understand me? Like I told you, I got a homeboy. That nigga did a dub for taking a woman's child that wasn't his child and throwing that baby up against the wall. You know what I'm talking about? Because the baby couldn't stop crying. He couldn't deal with it. This happened in 1999, and he took that baby and he threw that baby up against the wall. That baby died. Now, was his intent to kill that baby? I don't think that was his intent, but he got frustrated. He didn't know what to do. But you know what, though? That lady's siblings, the other children that lady got, how you think they're going to look at their mama? Because they knew full well you had a nigga. This was a baby. So that means you just had another man's baby, and you got that baby with a man who is not his father, watching that baby while you at work, because this is the nigga you just happen to be having intercourse with at the moment. How you think her children gonna look at her? They ain't no need to be asking for forgiveness. She need to be forget, nigga. Something happened to my brother because of you. You know how many girls I went to school with, man, got touched on because their mama kept bringing niggas in the house. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas that she barely even knew. What this child going to ask them for forgiveness for? I didn't put myself in this position. You put me in this position. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man. That junk don't even sound right. You know what I'm saying? That junk don't even sound right. Niggas' parents ain't infallible out here, man. But I've been telling y'all that for years, man. Your parents were human. You know what I'm saying? See, when you a child, you don't think that they're human. So you don't think that they can make any errors, have any flaws, or nothing. You know what I'm talking about? But they're human. They don't know everything. They don't make the best decisions. They're not the wisest people on the earth. You know what I'm talking about? And you have to accept that. You know what I'm talking about? And don't hold that against them. But see, people don't want to do all. They don't want to deal with all that stuff, man. What if your mama emasculated childhood? What if your mama, as a young woman, she was in competition with you? You know what I'm talking about? And the way that she treated you, she degraded you and denigrated how you looked and this, that, there, and the third. And now you got all these mental hang-ups and problems, man. You know what I'm talking about? What if your mama mismanaged her vagina? You know what I'm talking about? And now she got churned from a whole bunch of niggas. None of y'all got the same daddy. It's 5, 6 y'all in here. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that have an effect on a child's mind, man. We can't be walking around here acting like that's not reality, man. Like all our people been in the word all their life. Man, our people sinners out here, man, and they making sinner decisions. You know what I'm saying? See, that's why I always tell you can't get in the word now and try to look at the people crazy because you done learn some righteousness. Your people were sinners who was raised by sinners that made sinner decisions. So they made decisions based off their flesh and what felt right or seemed right to them at the time, based off the information that they were given. You can't turn around and look at them crazy because you felt like you got better information than what they got. Now, if you do that, there you might need to step to your people like, you know what? I sized you a little wrong, and I shouldn't have sized you like that. They still a human being, man. Then sometimes, some people just ain't that strong. And some people can't handle what life shoot at you. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between a champion and a loser, is that when negativity and adversity happen, losers quit. And that's just the bottom line of it. Losers gonna quit. They're not gonna endure, they're not gonna maintain. You know what I'm talking about? Because at the end of the day, man, certain we could put everybody in here in the same situation and everybody in here not going to react the same. You know what I'm talking about? Some people going to fold. Some people going to have anxiety. Some people going to go in the back and weep. Some people just going to look at it, assess it, and deal with it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it might mess with me, this, that, there, and the third, but regardless of what, I got to deal with it. It is what it is. You know what I'm talking about? That's why I've always told you, don't look at nobody and be like, well, I wouldn't do that if I was in that situation. Well, nigga, you ain't them. You know what I'm saying? So don't try to put yourself in a situation about what you would do in a situation or circumstance and you not them. See, that's not what Yahuwah do. Yahuwah put himself in your shoes so he can understand you. Because he already know he ain't you. You know what I'm talking about? So he already know. I definitely wouldn't do what you would do. But that's why I'm Yahuwah and you not. You know what I'm saying? That's the point. But nevertheless, John chapter 11, man. Verse 3, right? Therefore his sister said unto him, Lord, saying, Lord, behold, he whom you love is sick. When Yahushua heard, he said, the sickness is not unto death, but for the esteem of Elohim, that the son of Elohim might be esteemed. See, let me show you something, right? Say this sickness ain't unto death. Come on, we Isaiah chapter 1 real quick. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I got the premise. But yeah, man, you sometimes, boy, you got to forgive your parents, man. That just is what it is, man. You know what I'm talking about? Because at the end of the day, you know what you don't never really be knowing with your people, man? What they experienced in their childhood. That should help shape and foster their worldview and their decision making. Because you ain't really going to sit down and ask them that type of stuff. Because they ain't really your place to really be asking them that. That's something if they choose to offer, or if y'all talk to each other like that, they choose to just share that information. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man, that's just the reality of life, man. Niggas human beings out here, man. These niggas be acting like everybody people in the word, man. You know what I'm talking about? Because guess what? I wouldn't dare go to my mama or my dad and ask them for forgiveness for nothing. And I know they literally out of pocket. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't nothing for me to be asking for forgiveness for. You dead wrong. You know what I'm talking about? If you dead wrong, what I need to be forgiven for, and you wrong. No, that ain't how that work, man. But y'all know that, though, with black people, man. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be acting like niggas, people, more specifically the mama, because, you know, we taught and raised differently, so niggas don't have that much grace for their dad. You know what I'm saying? Just based off the society and culture we live in. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of black folks look like mama can't do no wrong. But I done told you this before. You ain't supposed to go check your parents. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to be doing none of that. That's not your place. To be talking about coming here, talking about checking somebody. You know what I'm saying? Now you can sit down and express, hey, the things that you did, they injured me. But if you're the type of person you looking for closure, well, shoot, boy, you better be like Waldo, because you're going to be looking. Because you ain't going, what is that going to do for you? What you need that for? That's for your ego. That's really a manipulation ploy, so you can feel like you got the upper hand over somebody who you feel like did you wrong. Regardless if they did you wrong and you get closure or not, you would just have to forgive them and let that go and move on with your life. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody is not going to give you the conversation and information that you desire. You know what I'm talking about? And if you walking around looking for it, you're doing damage to yourself. You know what I'm saying? If y'all can have that conversation and reconcile the matter, pray be to you. But a lot of time, man, people not going to look you in the face and say, yeah, nigga, I know I was wrong for that. Yeah, I know I shouldn't have beat you like that. I know I shouldn't have did this or did that. Your people usually not going to do that because then they going to feel like it's a reflection on their poor parenthood. You know what I'm talking about? And don't nobody really want to acknowledge I was a bad parent. Nobody wants to say that. You know what I'm talking about? So that's why they get defensive about it. Especially more so the women, because, you know, y'all don't like to acknowledge when y'all done did some and y'all was out of pocket. That's because your mother is delusional. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. But she's delusional as a coping mechanism to deal with the bad decisions and choices that she done made. So this is what allows her to sleep at night. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I ain't just saying that just to be saying that. That's what a lot of people, man. I've been in jail with niggas. You know what I'm saying? I've been on the street with niggas who were trying to justify what they was out here doing. This is what helped them sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? I got to come up with a way to make this sound plausible so I can go to bed. Because if not, my mind is going to haunt me every minute and every moment of the day. You know what I'm saying? That's why I be telling y'all, a lot of these dudes, man, who preach the word, man, these dudes ain't 100, because clearly y'all ain't been out here, man, round people and understanding, man, that, yeah, man, it's real out here, bro. It's real out here. You know what I'm saying? It's real out here. And some people are inherently evil. Most people not. They just make bad decisions. They make bad choices. You know what I'm talking about? And they react off emotion. So then a lot of times, it's hard for them to acknowledge that that's what they've done. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. When you understand that, then it's okay. You know what I'm talking about? And you can just be like, you know what? It's not a big deal. Because see, I told you this here because we had a conversation in my room about that. I was like, hey, bro, my people love me, bro. People out here didn't just not love them. Just because your people may have made bad decisions in other areas of life don't mean that a nigga people. Everybody want to act like we all got trauma. Nigga, my people ain't do nothing to me, nigga. If your people did something to you, I'm sorry that happened to you. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm not going to say that I got some trauma just so I can make you feel better because your people did something to you. That's an unfortunate situation for you. I empathize and sympathize with you. You know what I'm talking about? But nigga, that's not my reality. And I'm not going to make that my reality to fit in. You know what I'm saying? My people didn't abuse me. You know what I'm talking about? Not my mama, not my daddy, not my granddaddy, not my auntie, not nobody. You know what I'm talking about? I wasn't mentally or emotionally abused. I wasn't physically nor sexually abused. Nigga, we just was poor. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that was it. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, no, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? And if your people didn't do that to you, then you should let that be known. Hey, man, my people didn't do that to me. And I'm not going to sit here and say that. See, you know what a lot of niggas feel like? They traumatized because they ain't get their way. And they ain't get to do the things that they wanted to do for whatever reason. You know what I'm talking about? And now you act like you've been injured and your parents were so horrible. You know what I'm talking about? When you got people who really did something to them. You know what I'm saying? That kind of minimizes people really did something to them. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, stop crying like a little hoe because you ain't get what you wanted. You got a little girl, man. Her people beat the brakes off of her. That wasn't no whooping. You deal with them children. That's not the proper way to discipline somebody. You're in an emotional state. You're not going to render proper information. You're not going to render proper correction. You're not going to do it. You're going to go overboard and you're going to do something mentally to that child. You ain't going to realize you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? And then you would have to ask yourself, why are you allowing a child to put you in that type of an emotional state that you can't even control your anger, your words, or your mind? How has a child got that much power over you? You know what I'm saying? That means you frustrated about something else and you taking it out on that child. Don't do that to that baby. That baby didn't ask for that. You know what I'm saying? That's not to say that it won't happen. You're human. You know what I'm saying? But you got to try to make sure you keep yourself in the moment. Be like, you know what? I'm tripping. Let me go ahead and just drink me some tea. I'll talk to this nigga later. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, that's why you got to uptick these children killing themselves and all the other stuff that they got going on. You know what I'm saying? Because niggas be flying off the handle. But Isaiah chapter 1, though, verse 4. A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken Yahuwah. They provoked the Kadash, one of Yasharal, into anger. They are gone away backward. Why should we be stricken anymore? Will you revolt more and more? The whole heart is sick. The whole heart faint. From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there's no soundness in it. Wounds and bruises, putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. See, come back. Notice, right? Because he's talking about a sickness. But he said this sickness ain't unto death. Now, see, he talking about Yasharal having a sickness. This sickness was causing them to die. Now, the point of the matter when he say this sickness is not unto death, because I want my last end to be like his, because it's not unto the second death. You have an opportunity to come out of this particular sickness. See, let me give you some of the information in that Isaiah. Dang, this doggone phone don't charge. On this doggone. It's trying to be too hot. One day this phone gonna catch fire like the other. I dropped my phone one day. Abigail tried to jump in my lap. Shalom, brother Ella, and knocked my phone down. That joint hit the ground. That nigga caught fire. So when you get soundness, right, you have methone, which is soundness, completeness, wholeness. You're not entire. You're not complete. For lack of a better term, you're not perfect. Because that's what Tamain would get you to. And then you got putrefying sores. So when you look at putrefying, you got new, fresh. These are fresh sores on your body. Sores is makkah. You got a wound, you got a slaughter, you got a plague. Got a fresh plague. And they ain't been mollified with no ointment. What is mollified? That's rakak. That means they haven't been softened. They haven't been softened. Your heart's still hard, if you would. You understand? But this sickness is not unto death. Come over here to 2 Corinthians chapter 5 so you can see how this sickness is not unto death. Second Corinthians 5 and 14 is sufficient. For the love of Hamashiach constrain us, because we thus judge that if one died for all, then we're all dead. And he died for all, that they which live should not henceforth live unto themselves, but unto him which died for them and rose again. Wherefore henceforth know we no man after the flesh, yea, though we have known Hamashiach after the flesh, yet now henceforth know we no more. Therefore, if any man in Hamashiach, a new creature, old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. And all things of Elohim, who have reconciled us to himself by Yahushua HaMashiach, and have given to us the ministry of reconciliation. To wit, Elohim was in Hamashiach, reconciling the world unto himself, not imputing their trespasses unto them, have committed unto us the word of reconciliation, which I didn't continue down the road in Isaiah chapter 1, but he ends up discussing about how to reconcile, do good, not evil, things of that sort. So when you look at this sickness is not unto death, but that the son of Elohim might be esteemed. See, the sickness that put him in the grave, which we just talked about that in other verses, it wasn't unto death because he rose. The sickness of the flesh that you have is not unto death because you can actually be filled with the Ruach, resurrect from the dead and not be touched from the second death. That is important to understand. Let's look at verse 5 of John 11. Now Yahushua loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus, and when he heard therefore that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. Then after that, he to disciples, let us go into Yehuda again. Disciples said unto him, Master, the Yahudim of late have sought to stone you, and you go here again? Yahushua answered, are there not 12 hours in a day? If any man walk in the day, he stumble not, because he see the light of this world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumble, because there is no light in him. And it's funny that everybody run to that particular verse right there to argue about when the day starts and not paying attention to what the man talking about. You know what I'm talking about? That's the sad part about where we at as an individual. You know what I'm saying? Come over here to Jeremiah chapter 13. Because see, when you're walking in darkness, you're walking in sin. When you're walking in darkness, you're walking in pride. When you're walking in pride, you're walking in stupidity because you're walking in death. So when he told him, he said, man, they sought to kill you. He said, man, they walking in darkness, man. They don't know where they going. See, Job said the same thing about this. It's in the text a few times about what happened when you walk in darkness. Ain't that the same thing that the Malachim did to the men banging that lot door? He made them blind. Why would he make them blind? Because they were walking in darkness, because they were walking in sin. They didn't know where they were going. See, when you walking in sin, you don't know the way of Kadash. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what you're doing. That's why you got so many brews all the way talking about Hamashiach can straighten stuff out when he get back, because they walking in sin. They don't know where they're going. How you in the light and Elohim is light, and that he actually was in the nighttime, what was Yahuwah? When you was in the wilderness, what was it? Pillar of fire. So he was light in the way of darkness. Because let me just go on and look at it. Hold Jeremiah 13. Go look at Isaiah chapter 4. I let the Lord tell it to you. That ain't the one you sent me. I meant to work that in, and we never got around to after you had something to that. I guess that's just how it goes. I have stuff in my mind before I start, and then I don't get to it. It don't be intentional, though. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 4. Shoot, you can make it too. In that day shall the branch of Yahuwah be beautiful, esteemed, the fruit of the earth be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Yasharal. It shall come to pass, left in Zion, and remain in Jerusalem, shall be called Kadash, everyone that is written among the living in Jerusalem. When the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall purge the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof, by the ruach of judgment and by the ruach of burning. And Yahuwah will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion and upon her assemblies a cloud and smoke by day. Notice he said upon every what? Dwelling place. And on the upon all her assemblies. All her, let's look at assemblies by definition so you can see. I give you dwelling place on general principle. That's my cone. Every fixed or established place, every fixed place, every foundation, every habitation. So guess what? He said in Zion, he's going to shed a what? A cornerstone, a sure foundation. Everybody that believe on him shall not be ashamed. So now you come back and you look at assemblies. And what is that? Of course, that is mikra. And what is that? That is a convocation, a sacred assembly, a calling together. So when you look at every assembly, it's not going to be every assembly. It's not a multitude of assemblies. So if it's not a multitude of assemblies, then what does it mean? What it means is upon the body, because it's not but one convocation. It's not but one congregation. It ain't but one assembly, and that's the body of a Mashiach. You understand? So he's going to make sure that he creates upon every dwelling place and the body a cloud and a smoke by day and a shining of a flaming fire by night, for upon all the esteem a defense. And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and a place of refuge, and for covert for storm and for rain. So he said he's going to lead you with a flaming fire. And of course, you know your Elohim is a what? A consuming fire. So if you have this flaming fire by night, which of course you know fire is Ish, and that is La'abah, and that is a flame or the tip of a weapon or a spear. So even in the darkness, when you coming through in darkness, you have light because God with you. You know why? Because Elohim is light and no part darkness. And whoever dwell in him and dwell in darkness is a liar, and the truth ain't in him. So these individuals, they don't have a light in darkness because of what you're going to see in Jeremiah 13 and 15. Hear you and give ear. Be not proud, for Yahuwah has spoken. Give esteem to Yahuwah your Elohim, because he caused darkness before your feet stumble upon the dark mountains. While you look for light, he turned into a shadow of death and make it gross darkness. But if you will not hear, my soul shall weep in secret places for pride. My eyes shall reap sore and run down with tears, because Yahuwah's flock is carried away captive. Saying to the king and to the queen, humble yourself, sit down, for your principality shall come down, the crown of your esteem. Notice that you see that he weeps sore and run with tears. What did he do over Jerusalem? He wept for them, didn't he? Because they didn't know the time of their visitation, because of their pride, because they were walking in darkness. They were walking in darkness. See, when you're walking in darkness, you don't know where you're going. How many of y'all walk through your house at night and ain't no light on in there? You can't see where you're going. You know the only way you kind of navigate through there because you already know the layout. And even with knowing the layout, you still might run into something, depending on where you stay and how dark it is. Because some neighborhoods, you get a little bit more natural light coming through your house than others. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man, you walk through a plot spot, man, and it's good and dark, and you ain't got no lights on in the house. You don't see where you going. You ain't got no idea where you going. So just imagine that at nighttime when you journey through the wilderness, and you got a flame of fire, and it's Yahuwah going before you. But if you ain't got Yahuwah, ain't nothing going before you. So you can't see where you're going. And when you can't see where you're going, you know what's going to happen? You bound to make an error. Hold on. Let me get something out of the book of Job. I did they. Come over here to Job chapter 5. Job 5 and 10, I believe. Yeah, Job 5:14 will work for right now. There's another one. I can worry about it. 5 and 14. Well, not 5 and 14. I should say about 5 and 11. To set up on high those that be low. Those which mourn may be exalted to safety. He disappoint the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot form enterprise. He take the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and they grope in the noonday as at night. See, that's what your forefathers did too, you know, when he made it go dark. They can't see. What does grope mean? Well, let's look and see. Your mama moved out. That's what she do all day. And follow her around. Just saying mama all day. Grope. What is the grope? It is to feel. It is to grope. The word is mashash. It is meme and double shans. That means they grope and they searching. See, when you walking in darkness, you searching for God, but you'll never find it. Don't you? I forget this. It's not even coming to my mind. That's Proverbs 1. We say, well, you'll seek, but you won't find him. You'll call and he won't answer. You know what I'm saying? When you walking in sin, you'll never find the man. I just set it out there. It's dark. You think? Huh? I can't hear you. It's still light outside. Oh, so it is, ain't it? It look way darker over here than what it is out there. Let's come back to John 11. Yeah, verse 11. These things said he. After that, he said unto them, our friend Lazarus sleep, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep. Then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. Howbeit, Yahushua spake of his death, but they thought he had spoken of taking rest and sleep. Then said Yahushua unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead. And I'm glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent that you may believe. Nevertheless, let us go unto him. Now, of course, he done slid around there. This man been dead for 4 days. Let's look at verse 24, 23, I should say. Or 22, 21. Then said Martha unto Yahushua, Lord, if you had been here, my brother had not died. But I know that even now, whatsoever you will ask of Elohim, Elohim will give you. Yahushua said unto her, girl, get up out that floor. Get up out that floor. Because you ain't too crazy. See, all them children be faking, right? When they want to fall out in the floor. You ain't really falling out. Because y'all fall out very gently. Because y'all know that floor hurt. Because, boy, in my day, I grew up with some children, boy, they fell out and took the injury. That's how you knew them. That tantrum they were doing was real. I done seen most of all y'all in y'all day faking, falling to the ground slowly, bracing yourself. This junk here fake. You was a real baby. You go ahead and bounce your head off the floor. Yeah, but I done seen her do that. Like you want to fall out. She don't want to fall out. And then she do that whenever, man, all that faking and cheating. A lot of them niggas do that, John, all that crying. Then immediately, when somebody come grab you, it stop. Fake. Start putting them niggas in the trash can and roll them on the curb. Where we at with it? John Ledman, 22. But I know what that even now, whatsoever you will ask Elohim will give you. Yahushua said unto him, your brother shall rise again. Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection of the last day. Yahushua said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believe in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. Whosoever live and believe in me shall never die. Believe you this. Let's come over here to the book of Kings, 2 Kings to be exact. I want to look at Elisha and the man getting tossed in his grave. 2 Kings chapter 13. And 14 is fine. 2 Kings chapter 13, verse 14. Now Elisha was fallen sick of his sickness, whereof he died, and Joash, the Malach of Yasharal, came down unto him and wept over his face and said, O my Abba, the chariot of Yasharal and the horsemen thereof. Elisha said unto him, take bow and arrows, and he took unto him and bow and arrows. He said to the Malach of Yasharal, put your hand upon the bow, and he put his hand. Elisha put his hand upon the king's hand. He said, open the window eastward, and he opened. Then Elisha said, shoot, and he shot. And he said, the arrows are Yahuwah's deliverance, and the arrow deliverance from Syria. If you shall smite the Assyrians in effect, till you have consumed. He said, take the arrows, and he took, and he said unto the Malach of Yasharal, smite upon the ground, and he smote thrice and stayed. The man of Elohim was wroth with him, said, you should have smitten 5 or 6 times. Then had you smitten Syria till you had consumed, whereas now you shall smite Syria thrice. Elisha died, and they buried him. And the band of the Moabites invaded the land at the coming in of the year. It came to pass as they were burying a man, that behold, they spied a band, and they cast the man into the sepulchre of Elisha. When the man down and touched the bones of Elisha, he revived and stood upon his feet. So the first thing we're going to look at is the meaning of Elisha. When you look at Elisha, Elohim is salvation. So what you understand is a man has been tossed into the grave where Elohim is salvation, is presently buried. Now, when you look at when he touched, that is Nagah, which is to touch. And the only reason I mention that because you have Nun, Gamal, and Ayin. So you've experienced the messenger of life. So when the man was tossed in the grave of Elohim salvation, then he touched and he experienced and he knew the messenger of life. Now, when you get out of him being revived, of course, you should know that this is kaya, and that is to make alive, or the Hebrew word that is used a lot of times for quicken. So why is this important? Now, of course, he didn't go in and touch Lazarus in the grave, but he said Lazarus was a man who Yahushua loved. Did it not? And that's what it said. Now, of course, why would it be said this? Well, we already know the parable in Luke where he was talking about Lazarus, right? He said this was a just man. This was a righteous man all the way around the board. Now, if he loved him, that means Lazarus loved him back. And if Lazarus loved him back, that means he believed on him, he trusted in him, and he served him. You understand? That's how that works. That's how all of this goes down. Now, this also takes us to what we were talking about in Romans 6 about it being buried in baptism with him. See, if you want to be revived and made alive, then you would need to go into the sepulchre of Elohim salvation, and then you'll be able to stand upon your feet because now you will have soundness, and your wounds will have the mollifying ointment, which would be the Ruach HaKadosh, which would resurrect you from the dead. But you would have to believe that this is his. See, this is dealing with that back end on let my end be like his. If you're going to die the death of the righteous. See, if you're going to die the death of the righteous, you would need to understand what is his end. His end is to be revived. Because he said, if a man die, shall he live? That's the question that Job asked. He said, man, keep me in the grave till my change. But see, you need to be changed inwardly before you can even be changed physically. Let's take a look at that in Philippians chapter 3. Like I told you, I done heard people say, oh yeah, you don't get born again till the resurrection of the dead. I'm like, boy, stop telling people that, man. That's bad information. Just on general principle, I'll pick it up at verse 6 of Philippians chapter 3 and read a whole lot more than what I need to, but I feel like doing it. Concerning zeal and persecuting the synagogue, touching the righteousness which is in the law, blameless. But those things were gained to me, those I counted loss for Hamashiach. Yea, doubtless I count all things lost for the excellency of the knowledge of Hamashiach Yahushua, my Lord, for whom I've suffered the loss of all things, and do count them dung that I might win a Mashiach. See, that's what a lot of people problem is. You don't want to lose nothing. You want to gain, you don't want to lose. You know what I'm saying? And he said that he was willing to lose everything for the excellency of the knowledge of Yahushua HaMashiach. And we understand that the knowledge of my righteous servant will justify many. But let's continue. He said, be found in him, not having my own righteousness, which is of the law, which we know that's Deuteronomy 6 and 25. But that which is through the faith of Hamashiach, the righteousness which is of Elohim by faith, which we know that is Genesis 15 and 6. Oh, praise the Lord, man. Of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death, if by any means that I might attain unto the resurrection of the dead. Not as though I had already attained, either were already perfect, but I follow after, if that I may apprehend that for which I'm also apprehended of Mashiach Yahushua. But I count not myself to have apprehended, but one thing, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. See, that's where we get that lesson. See, let's take a look at Sunday. Put her down. She all right. She sit her behind down. That's what she can do. Come over here to Luke 17. And 22. And he said unto the disciples, the days will come when you shall desire to see one of the days of the son of Adam, and you shall not see. And they shall say to you, see here or see there, go not after nor follow. For if the lightning from one under Shamahim shot unto the other under Shamahim, so shall also the son of Adam be in his day. But first he must suffer many things and be rejected of this generation. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the son of Adam. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given into marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Now, I've been told you that. Now, it's going to be a little different in the days of Noah in one aspect. You're going to have a tyrannical, godless, wrathful, vengeful individual slaying anybody who stands for the word. But if you think everybody just going to be living in the Stone Age, oh, no, you're going to be living life like you've been living it. That's one of the common misconceptions. People are like, oh, we need to get prepping. We're going to have to live off the land. Man, you're going to be living your regular life. It's just the people who believe in the Mashiach are going to be persecuted, but you're going to be living your regular life. That's what you're going to be doing. Oh, you thought you were just going to be ducked off in the look what it said. What did this man just said? They ate and drank, didn't they? I mean, if they eating and drinking, you having a good time. He said, you getting married, you giving in marriage, and when he went in our heart, he died. Because that's how he want to catch you. He want to catch you going about your business, doing your regular deal, so when he come through, you get caught with your drawers down. See, that's why that Revelation 1 and 7 say, and when they see him, they shall wail because of it, because you wasn't expecting him to come. Remember, he said in Luke 12, right? He said, oh, and if you say my master delay his coming, and you go to get eat and to be drunken and to beat the manservants and the maid servants, he said the master of the house gonna catch you in a day when you ain't looking for him, and he gonna tear you to pieces and appoint you your portion with the hypocrites and the unbelievers. See, niggas want to act you. See, niggas want to create a theatrical scene that they done seen in the movie. That's what wrong with you dumb niggas, man. You jackasses watch too many damn YouTube videos, and you think everything gonna play out in the movie. It's predictive programming. They're telling you what they're going to do in the movie. Who give a damn what a man telling you what's going to happen? What did Yahuwah tell you what's going to happen? What you give more weight to? You give more weight to a YouTube conspiracy video, or you give weight to Yahuwah? Because I ain't never gave no weight to no damn YouTube conspiracy video. I don't give a damn what them people talking about. You know why? Because everything I seen them niggas talking about, that wasn't what the word said. And I'm going to go with the word because they don't know what's happening. They guessing what's happening. They want to talk about what Mr. Charlie said going to happen. I'm going to deal with what Yahuwah said happened. Because every time you see in Sodom and Gomorrah, was them people around there living crazy? No, them people was around there playing with booty hole, getting married, extorting people, full of pride, telling lies, worshiping idols, and then they were dead. Just like that. Okay. Verse 28, I said that because that was the precursor. Look at it. And he says, and likewise also was in the days of Lot. They did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built it. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone for Shamahim and destroyed all. Listen what he said they did. He said they did what? They bought and they sold. He said they planted and they built. So guess what? They were farming. They were building houses. They were selling their stuff and they died. And you know how we get the key component on that? Because when we were talking about Babylon, what he said them people were doing in Babylon, they were buying and selling, wasn't it? Because they say all the merchants was out there weeping. The people were getting money, doing what they always have been doing. Yeah, that's right. They refused to look out for the poor for Sodom and Gomorrah. Doing the same stuff that human beings do. See, we want to act like stuff ain't just happened. It's the same token, and I done told y'all this before because it grinds my gears every time I hear it. Dude talking about this here, steady want to call a woman who unmarried with children a widow. Y'all niggas need to stop doing that, man. That woman's not a widow, man. Dude, we're talking about is it every man's responsibility to care for a woman in that situation? It is not. It is not. That's the handle? Yeah, it comes off. It is not. You know what I'm saying? And you know why that's a negative? Because it reinforces the individuals, if they make those bad decisions and those bad choices, that there'll be somebody to bail them out. And Yahuwah ain't bailing you out for just the sake of bailing people out. You need to tell the truth of what a widow is. A widow is a woman who's been married to one man and he died and she raised children to adulthood. To be considered a widow that an assembly cares for. See, I say this because a lot of individuals do not know what the text says is for how assembly is operated, function, and all of these things. They just talking. If a woman is 24 years old and she is unmarried with 3 children, that woman is not a widow. If that woman got 3 kids from 3 different men, how in the world is she a widow? She is not a widow. She is a woman who has 3 kids from 3 different men. That's what she is. We don't have to put nothing on it. We ain't got to denigrate her. We ain't got to say nothing other. That's a woman with 3 kids from 3 men. That's it. Who's unmarried. That is not the congregation's duty to care for her and her children. It is not. That woman is not a widow. You can't take single motherhood and make it the new widow because you clown Christians for doing that, don't you? Don't they clown people for taking the word to make it be what they want it to be? You can't do that. If you want to do something for them people, then you do something for them people. But don't say that, oh, yeah, you ain't looking out for the widow, because it's not my responsibility to look out for a woman who mismanaged her vagina. That's not my responsibility. And you're not going to try to guilt trip me and make me believe I'm unrighteous because I don't want to do that. You know what I'm talking about? No, you're not going to do that. Ain't no spiritual widow. Ain't no such thing. You know what I'm talking about? There's no such. How you spiritually a widow? You got to be married to become a widow. If you ain't got no husband, you can't be no widow. And if the man left, that don't make her a widow. Make her that nigga left. You can only be a widow if your husband dies. Now, if the woman passed and she had, let's just look at it much more. Come over here to 1 Timothy, right? If a woman passes and she don't have no children, then it would fall on certain individuals in her family before it fell on the assembly. You know what I'm talking about? We done talked about this before, but it don't never hurt. See, I'm not saying that you can't do nothing for nobody. That's not what's being said. What being said is stop saying things that the book don't say. You know what I'm saying? That's not what that man taught. That's not what it is. Let's see at 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 9. It said, let not a widow be taken into the number under 80 years old, having been the wife of one man. So to be considered a widow in the text, she would need to be 60 years old minimum and married to one man. He said, yeah, because people make that my responsibility to be a husband to a woman whose baby father is still alive, and that's not my job. No, it's not. It's not if that's not what you want to do. But if that ain't your wife, that's not your responsibility. That's her responsibility and the responsibility of the man that she had that child from. You know what I'm talking about? See, what ends up happening is like I said, it's going to strengthen other young women to say, if I go do this, I have a safety net in the congregation. That's what you're teaching people. You're not actually teaching them to say this is not a behavior that you should engage in because there's consequences if you engage in this type of behavior. That's the point. That's what's wrong with most of us in the world is you don't want people to understand there are consequences for your choices. Listen to what he said again. Let not a widow be taken into the number under 60 years old, having been the wife of one man, well reported of good works, if she have brought up children, if she have lodged strangers, if she have washed the saints' feet, if she have relieved the afflicted, if she have diligently followed every good work. But younger widows refuse, for when they have begun to wax wanton against Mashiach, they will marry, having damnation because they cast off their first faith. Withal they learn idle, wandering about from house to house, and not only idle, but tattlers also, and busybodies, speaking those things which they ought not. I will therefore that younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, and give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. For some are already turned aside after high. Let not the synagogue be charged, that it may relieve them that are widows indeed. So the passages beforehand tells you what makes a woman a widow indeed. She can't be taken into the number of a widow in order for the people to take care of her if she is under 60 years old. And you know why? Because she can go get another husband. That's the reason why. Did he just say let the younger widows marry? So that means she can go get another husband. Why would it be on the congregation to take care of her if she's young enough to go get another husband? That's not their responsibility. Notice it said, if she brought up children, if she relieved the afflicted, if she washed the saints' feet, if these are all the things she has to qualify for the body to say, we'll look out for you because your husband died. Not just because you're here. See, we got this attitude of, just because somebody here, this is what ought to be done. She could be a widow and a ball buster. Look here, man. I ain't gonna go into no detail, but boy, nigga told me something by individual, man. You want to know if a woman really rotten? You want to know if a woman really horrible to deal with? You know what? See, I've been alive a little while, right? And you can hear a story or something, right? And you be like, boy, this don't sound sour. But I know a woman ain't about nothing when a man do two things. You know what them two things is? When he leave everything he got. When he leave his house, his vehicle, his clothing, all his belongings, and he slide. You know what another one let me up? When a nigga leave money behind. When a nigga dip and he got some money and some racks at that, and he be like, I don't even want the money. I just want to go. I know right then, boy, that woman there unsufferable. Because the nigga not walk away from no bread, man. Not that he worked for. This nigga ain't gonna get his check. That's how bad he wanted to get away from this woman. That woman is insufferable. See, when I heard that, I said, oh yeah, boy. I said, boy, he dealing with a real live ball. He dealing with something. Dudes don't do that. Dudes don't walk away from their whole life and just be like, I'm gone. When you see a man do that, that woman is horrible. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's what he said, Jay. That's a man don't even care. I just got to get away. See, a lot of people hear stories about a lot of things, man. Well, you got some women out here, boy, they horrible to live with. He did what the word tell you to do. It's better for you to dwell in the wilderness than to dwell in the house with a contentious and brawling woman. Because I ain't walking away from it. I'm going to get my bread, boy. You hear me? I work for it too. Walk away from my money? Who walking away from a cup of rice, man? Just say, nah, man, you can keep that on, won't it? Just so I ain't got to go back around over here with you. Yeah, boy. See, that's different when you be like, oh, a man don't act like he want to come home or he sit in the driveway for hours. That's different. That's just a nigga like, I got to get myself mentally prepared to come in the house. When a nigga just be like, boy, I'm gone, and he leave all his earthly possessions. Oh, yeah, boy. It's something about that woman ain't right. You know what I'm talking about? We can't be acting like every dude out here just the most horrible person in the world. It's some women out here, you only know them when you see them in public. You don't got to live with them, boy. It's some women, boy, make niggas be like, boy, if I could kill this hoe and get away with it, she'd be dead. You got some women out here that real reckless with their mouth. They talk to niggas any kind of way. Some of them put hands on niggas. They emasculate dudes all day, every day. And that's what they got to live with. When you see a man walk around with a broken spirit like that, that's because he coming home to a ball buster. He hate his life. You see dudes, boy, they be killing themselves and their whole family. Sometimes, boy, that woman be a ball buster. Sometimes that doesn't happen because life going bad and he just feel like, I'm going to just kill everybody. I don't understand why you would do that. If you just going to kill yourself, you ain't got to kill them people. They ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm talking about? But, yeah, I don't understand that. Jessica say, my mom's husband doesn't step foot in her house. She has to go see him if she wants to see him and stay at his house. And that's tough, and they still married. And he don't live with her. I mean, you say that, well, boy, you married. There's some people, right, they want to have separate spaces. He been told me that a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing, you got some people like, I want to have them. But if you don't say from the beginning, you know what, I want to keep me a space over here. You got a space over here. A nigga live with you, and then you say, you know what, I'm going to still pay the rent over here, but I'm finna move out and stay over here. And don't come to my house without calling ahead of time. That's tough. That's tough. When a man voluntarily said, I will pay all the bills at this house over here so you can stay the hell away from me, but he don't divorce her. I don't know what to say about that. That's got to be horrible. That's got to be horrible. That's the type of stuff. That's how niggas end up on drugs. That's how niggas end up on alcohol, being alcoholics. That's how dudes end up killing their family. That's how that junk happens. When you hear a story about murder, suicides, and all that stuff, that's how that stuff be happening. Because you're like, she was such a sweet lady. But she was horrible to live with. Come on, Luke said. I ain't gonna do all that. Oh, dang. Jessica said he stopped paying her bills, though. He said, I ain't paying no more bills, man. That's tough right there. That's tough. That's hard living. That's hard living. And I'm not saying every woman walking the earth like that, but you got some women out here who like that, who you wouldn't think that. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, she really that mean? You got some women in here be beating up people. Just beat that man up, and he just sit there and take it. You got women, man, come on, imagine living with a woman, man. She call you a vagina. Call you a coward and a female dog every other day. That John, well, when you be hearing sometimes dude be beat up, they old lady, where that stuff come from. That don't mean that he not right for doing it. You allowing somebody to emotionally manipulate you and control you with their words to derive a negative reaction out of you. You got to deal with that. You need to work on that. That's not good. You know what I'm talking about? At the same token, you got somebody, hey, man, that's not cool. He said that's how people find out they have siblings because daddy moved across town and had another family. Now, see, that situation different. You find out you had siblings because your daddy was a Rolling Stone. He was around here slinging loose meat. You know what I'm talking about? They ain't necessarily mean your mama was did that there in the third. Your daddy wanted a lot of women, and he just ain't had a heart to say, I want a lot of women. I'm just going to keep Minnie Pearl over here, and we just going to, that's who I take care of. But I got a couple holes over on, over yonder. Oh, from your daddy. So your daddy probably was like, shoot. I mean, that'd be tough when you had kids and the woman don't tell you that you got a baby out here. See, then the child be walking around with resentment and anger towards you, and you didn't even know that the baby existed. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be hard for the child. How do you not know I was here? Because your mother is a cantankerous whore. Then we just look at a TV show about that on with your white cop friends. Ain't that what happened?
Well, I mean, it wasn't like that. The dude had died.
Oh, he died. Okay.
But that was his grandson.
No, I was talking about the daddy, but you say he died. He died. Yeah, he did die. But you know what was ugly? The mother still nasty because the father passed away and you kept the child away from the father's side of the family. Like, why would you do that? What's wrong with you? Matter of fact, let me tell y'all this here too, man. If any of you women got turned and you ain't necessarily with the father of that child, don't you be no nasty nigga and keep that child away from their daddy or their daddy side of the family. That's their people too. Unless them niggas just horrible. Now, if they horrible, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about the side of the family. Like, if them niggas on some other type of time where you be like, oh, nah, don't send them turn, at least not unsupervised. If you're going to let them be around their cousins, aunties, and uncles, they would need to be supervised. You know what I'm talking about? Meaning you would need to be there. But if you know what I'm saying, because that's their family, man, you don't never know. Child grow up, be mad at you. I ain't know my grandma. I ain't know my granddaddy. I had cousins, this, that, and the third. You know, siblings is different because you don't know if niggas out here sowing wild oats. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I can believe it. I can believe it.
My daddy said he had a sister, and I was like, you do?
That boy, that wow. I mean, what was his response to you do? But see, you know why that's like that though? Because I don't think your daddy wasn't in nothing serious with your mama. He just was putting babies in them. See, that's what I would tell you. That's how that joint happened. See, that's the reverse. I told you when you be pimping and you get out the pimp game, you end up usually marrying your bottom chick and you have babies from. But I told you, I've been told y'all this here. Ain't a woman walking gonna be like, you know what's a good idea? Let me trick with a base. That's not happening. You know what I'm saying? Nigga trick with smokers a lot. You mess around, have baby from. Now you tied into a woman that in reality you ain't had no business having sex with. See, that situation I was telling y'all before, I had told this young man this here, you ain't had no business marrying that woman. And nigga told you not to marry that woman. And you married that woman knowing that you didn't like that woman. You know what I'm saying? You ain't want that woman like that. You know what I'm saying? And now look at you. Yeah, I'll never understand. I knew two dudes in the word did that. One dude say when he was walking down the aisle to marry, he was like, man, I shouldn't marry this hoe. I say, well, damn, nigga. Well, you knew that before you got that far. I said, well, these niggas crazy. Come on, man. Luke 17, verse 28. Likewise, also as it was written in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from Shamaim and destroyed all. Even so, thus shall it be in the day when the son of Adam is revealed. And that day which he shall be upon the housetop and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. And he that is in the field, likewise, let him not return back. Remember Lot's wife. Ain't no looking back. I forgot where we was at. I had John Hill, now I don't lost. I know I had John 11. But I felt like I had something else. But yeah, either way it goes, you can't be looking back. It got to be forward. Oh, that's what it was. We was in Philippians chapter 3. Praise the Lord. Come back to Philippians 3. That was a war. And that was from verse 13 when he said, reaching for those things which are before and forgetting those things which are behind. See, Lot's wife didn't forget that which was behind. She wasn't reaching what was in front of her. She was worrying about what was behind her. That's why he told her, remember Lot's wife. Don't worry about what's behind you. What's behind you is done. You know what I'm talking about? Because if it was relevant, then it'd be in front of you. But since it's behind you, what you reaching back for that for? I used to tell y'all this analogy all the time. I tell it to you again. Ain't nan one of y'all in your entire life ever sat down on the toilet and after your bowels moved, turned back around, looked in the toilet and put your hands in there and grabbed them feces.
You know, I think about it too, just Lot's wife, because Lot was rich because him and Abraham had separate ways. So they were living a lifestyle that probably that she didn't want to give up either.
Facts.
But Angel said, y'all got to slide.
Slide. Leave everything behind.
Yeah, she didn't want to give up.
You looking at what you had, looking at what you were doing, not understanding what he had in front of you. You were worried about the wrong thing. That's what a lot of people problem is, man. You worrying about the wrong thing. That's why we always talk about we was Israelites and we were just here. I ain't worried. I'm behind. I ain't worried about that. I'm looking for a kingdom who's making builders of Elohim. This ain't made with man hand. I ain't worried about what they did back here. I only look at what they did back here because everything written aforetime was written for our learning. I ain't trying to dwell on that. I mean, we need to get back to the garden. I don't need to get back to the garden. Them nigga died in there. I literally seen a nigga post today, show me where Satan lied. I say, come on, man. He talking about, but when Adam ate from the tree, he didn't die. I say, man, that's why you ain't even supposed to engage people in these type of conversations. You know, Bruce be ready to jump on secular people when they had them conversations. You just supposed to walk away. I'm not engaging you in that type of conversation. Cause I know you ain't got no understanding. This gonna vex me. Cause you ain't gonna catch what I'm talking about. Cause you ain't got good sense. But let me tell you something, man. Listen to verse 13 one more time. Brethren, I count not to have apprehended, but one thing, forgetting those things which are behind, reaching forth unto those things which are before. I press towards the mark of the prize of the high calling of Elohim and Mashiach Yahushua. Let us therefore, as many be perfect, be thus minded. And if anything be you otherwise minded, Elohim shall reveal this unto you. Nevertheless, we have already attained. Let us walk by the same rule. Let us mind the same thing. Notice that he said, those of us who have attained, hold fast to what you got going on. Let's all be on the same page. Brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk so as you have an ensample. For many walk, of whom I've told you often, now tell you even weeping, the enemies of the stake of Amashiach, whose end destruction, whose God belly and esteem is in their shame, who mind earthly thing. Which of course you know. Hold on, I got you, brother. Of course you know. Yeah. It's the same type of deal, but I'll grab it in a second. So of course you know Satan was cursed to go upon his belly. Why? Because he minded earthly things. What did Yahushua tell Peter? You mind the thing that be a man, and not the thing that's an Elohim. Because those who God is their belly, who mind earthly things, that mean your God is your lust, which takes us back to what? Covetousness. And why covetousness is idolatry? Because idolatry is rooted in your desires. So when you mind earthly things, you're going to be an enemy of the stake of Mashiach, because what does the mistake of Mashiach teach you to do? But to deny your desires, which is what Lot's wife didn't want to do. Luke chapter 9, Brother Reynolds just said that in there. Luke 9:57. And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain said unto him, Lord, I will follow you wherever you go. Yahushua said unto him, foxes have holes and the birds of the air nest, but the son of Adam have not where to lay head. And he said unto another, follow me. But he said to the Lord, suffer me first to go bury my Abba. Yahushua said unto him, let the dead bury their dead, but go you and preach the Malkuth for Elohim. See, a lot of people don't understand that, right? He said, if a man live and believe in me, he shall never taste death. You believe this? See, when you dead, when you in sin, you dead. So get what he would tell them. Let them sinners bury them sinners. Go talk about the dominion and reign of Elohim. See, a lot of brews don't like that type of conversation because they feel like, but you see what he just told him, man. He said, come follow me. This man said, let me bury my daddy. He said, man, you need to let them sinners handle that. You need to come on what I got going on. That ain't got nothing to do with you. See, a lot of brews, boy, that's a tough. I just seen the brother post the Sunday. They supposed to have a service, and they canceled the service. Somebody died. Boy, I ain't canceling nothing. And I wouldn't care who died. You know what I'm talking about? And I mean that, and you could be like, damn, that ain't, I wouldn't care who died. I'm not going to put you who will work on pause because a nigga dead. That nigga dead. So I'm supposed to just say bump the living because I'm upset because somebody died? No, I'm going to preach that word, man. That word will make me feel better because I can't do nothing for them. I can't do nothing for them. They already, if they was in the word, they done already heard the word. Matter of fact, if it's somebody who died in the word, we going to have a good time. Because he said we ain't supposed to have sorrow like others who ain't got no hope. That's what the book say, don't we? Ain't doing that. I ain't taking no days off. I'm talking about I ain't taking no days off, not because somebody died. We ain't having no funeral on the Sabbath, no way, so it made no difference. But the only way, and see, I wouldn't do it like that anyway, because I wouldn't have a service that close to the Sabbath, which would have me unclean for me not to be able to preach anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that ain't gonna happen. You know what I'm talking about? But no, I ain't canceling nothing. I ain't gonna be like, oh no, ain't no service this week, y'all. My daddy died. Remember that one? Oh, you ain't never seen that one. That doggone skin bone kept doing that jump from off of Tyler Perry, beating on it to my daddy died. My daddy died. Guess what I did? I preached every day I was supposed to preach. You know what I'm talking about? And you know what they did for me? Because I told both my brothers this here. My auntie ain't want to do it, but they did it. I said, yeah, man, if you have my daddy funeral on no Sabbath day, boy, I ain't coming. You know what I'm talking about? And they like this, and I meant that. And my older brother, Rico, he was like, well, shoot, man, we got you, baby, little bro. We got you. Because he said, man, you know, Pops would be upset if you wouldn't be there. But he'll be like, you know what? You got to stand on your principles. You got to do what you got to do. I said, I already know that. I said, I already know what type of time my daddy was on. But even if he wasn't, it wouldn't have mattered because my statement still stood. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I know about my daddy would have told me, boy, you don't compromise your principles to make other people feel good. No, he wasn't that kind of man. You know what I'm talking about? Nah, he wouldn't even agree with that. He wouldn't even agree to that. He'd be like, yeah, Dad, I know I put the pre, but I'm gonna go ahead and just come to the funeral. He'd be like, nigga, that means you don't believe in what you stand on if that's all it took. He wasn't that kind of man, so he wasn't gonna stamp that. You know what I'm saying? So his funeral was on the Thursday. Guess what? They had to wait. I would have went to the wake, but you know why I ain't go to the wake? Because I'd have been unclean. I wouldn't have been able to preach that night, so I ain't go. Plus, I wasn't trying to go sit in no room with no dead body anyway. You know what I'm saying? With a bunch of people who I don't even fool with. So I ain't coming around now. See, I ain't want, and then on top of this here, I'm gonna tell you now too, right? If it's somebody, it ain't too many people on this earth I don't fool with. But if it's a nigga who died who I don't fool with, I'm telling you right now, I ain't coming to their funeral. And I'll tell you like this here, if I ain't fool with you in life, I don't fool with you in death. I ain't preaching at your funeral. I ain't doing nothing that got nothing to do with you if I don't fool with you. You know what I'm talking about? Because I ain't going to be like, oh, they dead and they change it up. Oh, no. If I don't fool with you in life, I don't fool with you in death. And I mean that. Straight up and down. You know what I'm talking about? And there's a few people on the earth, boy. I ain't got no hatred towards you. I don't fool with you. And if I don't fool with you, I don't fool with you when you dead, nigga. And I ain't going to be like, that was a good man. You was a pussy nigga when you were breathing. You a pussy nigga in the grave. You know what I'm talking about? That was all David said about them niggas, didn't it? Bring that hoary head nigga down to the grave. He was a wicked bastard while he was alive, and let him be a wicked bastard in the grave. You know what I'm talking about? All that junk nigga be around here pump faking, man. All that. I ain't doing none of that, man. Don't live your life like that. Don't be like, oh, nigga died, you know. Nah, nigga. You was a buster. You know what I'm talking about? We ain't weak for no busters. 9-60, man. Yahushua said unto him, let the dead bury the dead, but go you and preach the Malkuth Elohim. Another said, Lord, I will follow you, but let me first go bid farewell, which are at home at my house. Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow looking back is fit for the Malkuth Elohim. You see what I'm talking about? You ain't fit for the kingdom of God. You steady looking back. What you looking back for? I need to bid farewell to my people. Bid them farewell for what? That's why a lot of these boys ain't cut out for this thing, man. Because a lot of boys ain't going to tell their people, man, I got to slide. Ain't going to do it. Let's continue, man. We're going to close with this Philippians 3, man. Get them off there. It ain't like it's almost 9 o'clock. I got to come back tomorrow anyway. Ain't going to hurt nobody. Verse 20, he say, for our conduct is in Shamahim, from whence also we look for the Savior, the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, who shall change our vile body that it might be fashioned like unto his esteemed body, according to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things to himself. See, we looking to get a change in the physical. But I want you to come to Leviticus 22 real quick. I'll give you a stomach. Y'all willing, we'll be able to look at it tomorrow, if the Lord permits. We ain't talked about this passage in a while. We went over it some years back, 22 and 17. I want to say it's probably been a good 6-7 years since the last time we took the time to look at this here. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron and to his sons and to all the sons of Yasharal, and say unto him, whatsoever of the house of Yasharal, the strangers of Yasharal, that will offer his oblation for all his vows and for all his free will offerings, which they shall offer unto Yahuwah for a burnt offering, at your own will, a male without blemish, or of the beeves, of the sheep, of the goats. Whatsoever have a blemish, you shall not offer, for it shall not be acceptable for you. Whosoever offer a sacrifice of peace offerings unto Yahuwah to accomplish vow or free will offering in beeves or sheep, it shall be perfect to be accepted. There shall be no blemish therein. Blind, broken, maimed, having wind, scurvy, scab, you shall not offer these unto Yahuwah, nor make an offering by fire of them upon the altar unto Yahuwah. Either a bullock or a lamb, have anything superfluous or lacking in its parts, that you may offer a free will offering before a vow, it shall not be accepted. You shall not offer unto Yahuwah that which is bruised or crushed or broken or cut. Neither shall you make in your land. Neither from a stranger's hand shall you offer the bread of your Elohim to any of these, because their corruption in them, blemishes in them, they shall not be accepted for you. See, that's tough right there. That man said you can't make none of them offerings from the hand of a stranger. Say a stranger can't offer the bread of Elohim. He said it's blemish in it. See, I'm going to read y'all something, and y'all going to ponder on this. Y'all willing, we come back tomorrow. The other thing we looked at with that, it was with the priests. Y'all remember that? Come back over to chapter 2. About chapter 21. Because we did both of these. It's been a while. See, I want you to look at this here, right? Verse 14. Say a widow or a divorced woman or profane or harlot, these shall not be taken, but he shall take a virgin of his own people to wife. See, we'll slide that in if you want to die the death of the righteous, because of course you know that deal with that. See, that's something that a lot of our people don't want to deal with, who dealing in their word. Well, this man can't marry you, boy. You a harlot, you a divorced, and you a divorced woman, and you a widow. High priest can't marry you. But you know, he gave him a little out in Ezekiel, right? He said one unless she had a priest before. Neither shall he profane his seed among his people, for I, Yahuwah, do sanctify him. See, notice that he put the priest on a higher standard. He ain't supposed to make common and desecrate his seed. See, this something that you're supposed to teach young men. See, this the thing, right? We be so focused on women becoming single mothers, right? I ain't really focused on that. One thing you're supposed to teach a young man is to value his seed, and not to just be putting his seed in any and every woman. Just because a woman got a vagina don't mean she's supposed to put your seed in her. You're supposed to teach your son to not profane and desecrate his seed. Every woman ain't a good woman. Every woman ain't going to be a good mother. Every woman does not deserve your seed. Shoot, every woman don't even deserve to have sex with you. And if you're the type of man that want to have sex with a woman just because she have a vagina, you is a beta male sent man, Johnny. You's a goofy and a weirdo. You know what I'm talking about? Because there's something mentally and emotionally and spiritually wrong with you. If you feel the need to have sex with every woman you see, that means you don't value your seed, man. And that means your father failed you. So you're supposed to teach your son to value his seed and not around here to be having sex with a bunch of women. Verse 16, Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron, saying, whosoever of your seed in their generations that have blemish, let him not approach to offer the bread of his Elohim. See, I can take and do both. You got the sacrifice and the bread, and who offer the bread. And y'all willing, we going to do both. With Psalms 37. Because we got to do that before we finish. We almost to part 10 of this here. You know, I kind of stop when we get that part out. For whatsoever man that have blemish, he shall not approach. A blind man or a lame, he that have a flat nose or anything superfluous. A man that is broken-footed or broken-handed or crooked back, a dwarf, he that have a blemish in his eye, scurvy, scabbed, or having stones broken. You know what that means to have your stones broken? That means your nuts gone. Say that's a hard lesson. You know why it's a hard lesson? See, the aspect of dealing with a young man valuing the seed is only a hard lesson because ain't nobody told it to you. If you didn't already have a natural inclination to value yourself. Now, I ain't going to tell y'all no lie. With some of them girls I grew up with, boy, I was like, oh, hell no. Absolutely not. You know what I'm talking about? I wouldn't get none of these hoes pregnant. Absolutely not. I ain't being funny. You know what I'm talking about? None of that. I'm talking about I was observant. I'm paying attention. I'm looking at like, boy, y'all putting churn in some of these hoes? Boy, y'all niggas crazy. You know what I'm talking about? And I'd rather not have sex with you than to risk getting you pregnant. You know what I'm talking about? If I sat back and looked at you and be like, absolutely not. I told you I live by this. If you weren't going to make her a wife, what you going to put a baby in her for? Do you understand how sad it is that we out here, man, that people think it's a bigger commitment to get married than to have a child with somebody? Nigga say, I ain't going to get married, but you got 4 kids from 4 different men. You didn't think that was a problem to getting married. No, I can't do that. That's too much. Are you serious? You put your life on the line for a random dude. You only knew this man for 30 minutes. Look here, man. You know how many women messed around and had a baby with a dude they barely knew just because they were just casually having intercourse, and then try to make a relationship with a dude who they barely know and wonder why it don't work because you don't know this nigga. But now you tied to him. Or he tied to you. Because sometimes dudes have babies with women they barely knew, and now they miserable. I say that from trying to teach your son that he views you from that. Oh, shoot, I heard that. Yeah, man, you got to teach your son value his seed, man. Your seed precious. You know what I'm talking about? See, they've been going hard on Steve Harvey, though, but they supposed to. He around here talking about what a woman got to bring to the table. She can make another you. No, she can't. She can carry another me. She didn't make anything. Yahuwah did that. You know what I'm talking about? I gave the life-bearing seed. Yahuwah did the rest when he allowed the seed to merge the egg. That was all Yahuwah. Now she carrying. Now she gonna go through some extreme excruciating pain to bring that forth, but she didn't make another me. You know what I'm talking about? That was a group effort. She can't make another you because that's incest. Well, you know, just a replica.
Right, so she can't make that's just like you gonna wait, you gonna marry your son? Making you.
Yeah, look at you. You out here cheating. What you cheating for? You feel like it's talking about babies and you a baby? You know what I'm saying? Oh, you say his wife took half his money? Well, I mean, shoot, Steve Harvey been married 3 times, bro. So there's that. Oh yeah. I mean, but like this thing, that was Jason Black. He was doing a stream about him, but I already knew this. But like a lot of niggas be think Steve Harvey be pandering, but that nigga don't be pandering. That nigga believe that stuff he say out his mouth. He really believes that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't think anything's wrong with that. You got to understand something. When a man really, when you dealing with a woman who has a history of being with drug dealers who wouldn't fool with you, and then you come through later to get with her and take her children that she had with drug dealers and make them yours. That's why he come and had these conversations, because none of them children, Lori Harvey's not his child. You know what I'm talking about? He did that because he really loved that woman, and he felt like this is my duty to deliver her from all her bad choices and decisions, even though she would have nothing to do with me. So he tell young men that this is what you should do. But no, what he should do is value your seed and don't lust after a woman who wouldn't want you if you weren't at your peak. If she didn't want to fool with you then, why is you trying to fool with her later? No, don't do that to yourself. You know what I'm saying? You don't never go back for somebody who didn't want to fool with you when you wanted to fool with them. That's man or woman. You got to respect yourself more than that and be like, nah, I'm good. I'm good, especially as a man. Now she want to come to you after she done did whatever she want to do out here in the world, and now she want to be with you. She think you a sucker. Yeah, she think you a sucker. Because that's a sucker move. Because these dudes were arguing about simp too today, man. Talking about the black manosphere got everybody saying simp. I say, you damn fool. I've been saying simp since the late 80s. The first person I ever heard say simp was Too Short. And I knew that simping was the opposite of pimping. We been knew what that was. We've been knew what that was. That ain't no new term. You know what I'm saying? We've been saying that junk for years. For years. You know what I'm talking about? Like, oh, this nigga here simping, man. You know what I'm saying? You basically, for us, you was a trick. You don't teach your son to be a trick. You know what I'm talking about? You teach your son to be a man of honor and integrity, value and respect, and to value and honor his seed, and to not give his seed to a woman just because he can get a few moments of pleasure. If you can't see that woman as a wife, what you gonna make her a mother for? And you really supposed to teach your son how to identify a wife so that he wouldn't give his seed to the wrong woman. Because there's a lot of men out here that gave their seed to the wrong woman. You know what I'm talking about? Then gave your seed to the wrong woman. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of women who ain't got no business having children. None whatsoever. You know what I'm talking about? Like none. You wasn't supposed to have nobody, baby. But you know why you had somebody, baby? Because that man didn't value his seed. He valued pleasure. You know what I'm saying? You can't teach young men to value pleasure, man. Pleasure will ruin a man's life. You know what I'm talking about? And that ain't the way you want to go. And then he say, verse 21. And no man that have blemish of the seed of Aaron, the priest, come near to offer the offerings of Yahuwah made by fire. He have a blemish. He shall not come near to offer the bread of his Elohim. So hallelujah for Yahushua. I'm going to tie that in with the bread on Passover and all that good old stuff, man. I think we done did it before, but it's probably been a while. But hey, I bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Yahuwah willing, we'll be back tomorrow, regular time, to do our regular thing. I appreciate y'all. Again, pray be to Yahuwah. We done crossed 700 subscriber threshold. We got 300 more to go. And then we can go live on my phone. You know what I'm saying? I might just tap in going live, just on whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's how I'm going to feel. You know what I mean? But yeah, we're going to talk about those blemishes for the sacrifice and for the priest. Because I talked about the sure found. I talked about a lot of things. I tied it all in for Yahuwah commit. But I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Yahuwah willing, man. We'll be back at it. Remember, man, the money for Pentecost need to be in by the 15th. What the day of the 2nd? Got 13 days. 13 days. So let's make that happen. You know what I mean? So y'all willing? Till tomorrow. Clubhouse, if y'all ain't got nothing for me, I'm out of here.